Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pravus, and today I'm going to show you how to break the otherwise flawless, impeccable game known as Civilization 6. Now, there is something I should probably address before we go much further. As you may have noticed, I am now speaking with a non-distinct Commonwealth accent. And this is something I plan on doing for all my future videos, because to the all-important American audience, it makes you sound a lot smarter than you actually are. I also say it is a non-distinct accent because, let's be honest, that same American audience is too stupid to know the difference anyway. Now, you are all probably familiar with Civilization 6. It's a great game, a beautiful game, practically perfect in every way. The fourth best Civilization game out of the entire series. Typically, a single campaign can last several hours, locked in a deadly struggle against a set of skilled AI opponents that might even cheat to make your life a little bit harder. But I have found an exploit that the devs never saw coming that makes this otherwise challenging masterpiece of a game an absolute walk in the park. The best part is, you can activate this exploit right from the main menu screen when setting up your game. All you have to do is open up your in-game difficulty setting and change it to this settler option right here. This one button breaks the game completely. Your otherwise reasonable and talented opponents will have their intellectual capacity reduced to that of a brain-dead gerbil, and you can absolutely trounce them with a minimal amount of effort. I have to assume that this is an exploit completely overlooked by the developers for years. After all, who would want to accept the title of a mere settler when building up a civilization to span the ages? That'd be like saying you prefer to be a prince rather than a king. No, thank you. I, quite frankly, would be embarrassed to play on anything lower than Emperor and post that to YouTube as if I'm some sort of authority on the topic. Can you imagine that? But for the sake of this video, I will debase myself by utilizing the settler exploit because it's abundantly obvious to me and anyone with half a brain that the developers never play-tested this setting to ensure that it was perfectly balanced, and they deserve to be called out for it. Now, I could just ramble on for another 4 minutes for no particular reason, but let's go ahead and start up a new game. We are going to be playing as China for today's video, because they seem to be quite popular online right now. Of course, as the mighty Chinese Empire, we're going to have to build a lot of wonders in this game. Usually, in a proper game of Civilization 6, you might be lucky to get as many as 5. But with the AI reduced to a drooling Neanderthal, I'll be surprised if we build less than 20 uncontested. And here we are in our beautiful parallel Earth, about to lay the first foundations of our great, eternal Chinese nation. And just to our south, we meet the city-state of Hong Kong, which feels remarkably appropriate. Ooh, we're even settled close to the Yellow River. Doubly appropriate. Well, hello there, puny nation of Khmer, who I am totally not going to kill. Wait. Has anyone else noticed that this guy has the Firaxis Games logo on his braces? Talk about product placement. Perfect. I've already set up our first wonder. It is, of course, a big circle of rocks. This is particularly handy because I want to set up our own religion, as there are some pretty obvious benefits to controlling the hearts and minds of our populace. Now, if I'm going to set up a religion that will truly encompass the entirety of the globe, I need to base it around something truly influential, something that everyone likes, that you just can't resist, something truly iconic for a global empire. Perhaps a popular consumable product? And that product will, of course, be opium. Everyone likes opium. I myself partake on a regular basis. It's the best stuff ever. Once you have a taste, you will always want more and more, which sounds perfect for an evangelizing religion. Hell, I would even be willing to start a war over this stuff. I mean, who wouldn't really? Other honorable mentions for our religion might include something like coffee. It is obviously the best of all the dirty flavored waters. No contest, really. I don't think anyone would dispute that. I suppose I could also toss on Scotch, or perhaps Guinness. But at the end of the day, opium is an obvious winner for our religion. Oh ho! It looks like our friends in Khmer have gotten a bit dodgy. They launched a surprise attack against Beijing because they perceived that I had no meaningful army. What they don't know is that they fell for my totally intentional trap, because despite holding the high ground in the beginning of this war, the pitifully handicapped AI can't help but squander the opportunity. In only a few turns' time, I'll have a meager force of my own which can resoundingly push them back and even capture a city in righteous retribution. Such is the power of the settler exploit. No build order, no standing army, forgetting government cards for turns on end, no problem. You'll never be punished. Case in point, I have completely neglected to plan out my error score to time the golden errors, but it seems that China is just so OP that we waltz right into one anyway. And the funny thing is, I won't pay attention to it ever again, and I'm 90% certain that every age will be a golden age for the rest of the game. As the Chinese Empire continues to explore beyond the horizon, we have encountered some other proud nations and their own inferior religious systems. Protestantism, Eastern Orthodoxy, Sikhism, and Judaism have apparently infested the lesser minds of the AI nations. Well, opium shall sort them out in due time. Let's wreak some vengeance upon our old rivals in Khmer. While I'm using pikes, gunpowder, and Chinese cannons, they seem to be fielding catapults. Brilliant. I'm sure launching a few rocks in a parabolic arc will definitely stand toe-to-toe against explosive niter. Spoiler alert, it didn't save them at all. I want to re-emphasize the point that I am not playing well right now. I'm deliberately not spending more than 3 seconds making decisions because I just cannot be bothered. And it hasn't hurt me in any way. Technologically, I am absolutely running away with the game. Only a handful of military units make me the most daunting military powerhouse on Earth, and opium is, well, it's biding its time. But that's only because hiring new missionaries is tedious and boring. It'll get to it eventually, I'm sure. I mean, just the other day, my apostles accidentally summoned tornadoes over my wonder. Or at least they claim they did. I suspect hallucinations played a role. I've spent a couple dozen turns trying to convert our neighbors, Hungary, to the true faith of opium. I can't really imagine why they'd want to resist our efforts, but they are. I could probably continue to send dozens of evangelists to their gates and persuade them with words, but I think a gun might be more effective at getting my point across. So by 1870, we've conquered our entire continent and chased Hungary across the sea in a futile effort to survive on some opiate-forsaken island. Can't have that now, can I? It would seem that Hungary, Sumeria, and the Congo aren't taking kindly to the widespread use of opium in their nations. They've actually declared a religious emergency against me. A war on drugs, if you will. Well, I will happily defend opium to the last man. Sweden is starting to annoy me. They've announced a Nobel Peace Prize for the greatest work of non-fictional writing. I, of course, submitted a simple slip of paper that read, "Opium is the only reason for living," and they had the audacity to disqualify me. We simply cannot allow any insults against our beloved opium to stand. They've clearly thrown in their lot with Gilgamesh and Mvemba, so of course, they shall have to die. By Jove, it seems the Swedes have been hogging all the volcanoes in this game. That's at least 3 they're settled against. Huh. Moronic settler AI probably thinks magma is good for the skin. Oh, lovely. I didn't even know Rome was in this game, and it's already 1932. Oh, now the AI believes that I'm using opium to stir my soldiers into a berserk rage and conquer the world. I mean, I am doing exactly that, but that's really none of their business. The sad thing is, when they inevitably fail to surmount a single successful attack against me, they are only proving my point that opium is the supreme substance. God, would you all just accept the one true religion already? I'm not even really bothering to direct my cities anymore. I literally don't need to produce any more units or buildings to win the game. Well, I mean, except for wonders, of course. You can never really have enough of them. We've embraced synthetic technocracy as our new government form because all I really want in life is a scientific council dedicated to the study of opium. Also holy wars, because Obviously. The Congo has been converted to the Church of Opium. Rome has fallen. The Nubians and Swedes are dead. Just one more quick push and I think we'll... What? Oh. Huh. It seems that our military might was persuasive to the last Sumerian holdouts and they just handed me the religious victory. Huh. A little anticlimactic, but I can't really expect much more when using the settler exploit. Sometimes you just win without really meaning to. Yes, pretty stars. Totally irrelevant. Here's an image of poppies instead. No, I said poppies. Well, that went about as well as expected. That is to say, I never felt challenged at any point and absolutely demolished the game, proving that I am, in fact, a marvelous Civilization player. I must say, I think these exploit videos are going to be tremendously fun to watch. I could easily see myself earning over 1 million subscribers with this type of content. Frankly, anyone could. If you happen to come across another channel with videos that teach you how to break a perfectly balanced game and show dozens and dozens of stock footage for no apparent reason, you should definitely subscribe to their channel. But subscribe to me first, of course, because I'm clearly the best. That should about do it for me today, so I wish every one of you a lovely 1st of April and a happy quarantine. Pip pip cheerio and all that, and I'll see you next time.